you guys. It's me, Dr. Torie. My book is officially out. And yes, it is time to talk about ACEs. You guys can find the books everywhere. However, I would encourage you guys to go to my website, BeVicTORIEus.com, and place your order today. Yes, it's time to talk about ACEs. Let's go, y'all.
Hello, 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 you guys. Welcome to another episode of Be Victorious. Now, listen, we are in this cycle breaker series, and the guest that we have here, I really would love to share her story. But what I will share with you guys is she was one of the very first people that were on our podcast. I want to say episode 5. Her episode woke up so many people sharing her story that the autoimmune community reached out to me. When I tell you lupus and ACEs and the story that she told put a light on ACEs and autoimmune, it's the reason why it's an educational podcast, you guys. But I think we're here for a different reason because there is so much that has happened between episode 5 and now. I had to bring her back because she is a cycle breaker and she is here to share her story. Doctor Helena Fields, where are you?
Well, hello there.
Look at you, look at you. You was in the dark in episode 5, and look at God. Look at him. I really wanted to introduce you seriously. However, I felt like it would come better for you to share because you shared your story with us the first time.
Mhm.
For the people that watch our podcast, yes, this is how our community started. This is how our community was built. She has been a huge aspect to Be Victorious in the community that we have built together. So I am humbled to have you here. But I'll let you introduce yourself.
Thank you for having me. I am the newly minted Dr. Helena Fields. Um, Before when I was on the podcast, I know I talked about my lupus journey. Um, at the time, it was a little bit more harrowing. Um, Things have gotten a little lighter. Which I'm sure we'll get into.
Yes.
And I'm just really happy to be back.
And I'm happy to have you because, as you've seen, we have grown tremendously. And for those who don't know, me and Dr. Fields actually were former colleagues. We shared the same classroom together, you guys. And we have really grown, not just in education, but we've grown professionally and personally together. So having you here, of course, is everything to me. But we have done a lot since our podcast episode. So
Mhm.
I'm just going to go ahead and get to it. You
Oh,
are a cycle breaker. You broke generational curses and generational cycles. And I'm extremely proud to see it happen. You know what I mean? So for me, it's humbling for a colleague to say, hey, I like what you're doing. Hey, I know what you're doing. Hey, let me join in and do what I need to do because I didn't get that doctorate degree for you. You did it for you. And it's a really big deal. So I'm going to start off with the first question. In your
mhm.
own words, what does it mean to be a cycle breaker? And when did you realize that that word applied to you?
Wow. Being a cycle breaker means not letting the trauma and the unfortunate circumstances of your life um, stop you from being who you were purposed to be. That's what it means to me. And coming from a place where I was almost there, where I felt like, okay, this is it, this is the end, to
Mhm.
now where I see some light is huge for me. Yeah.
Because you're doing it. You are doing it. Look at you shining. She's shining, y'all. So if
What
you go
stress?
to,
No.
listen, okay, wait, listen, you all have to please go back and look at episode 5. You'll see it's a wonderful thing to heal. And I say that because I've watched it. I've seen you. I've seen you grow. She is a speaker, you guys. She advocates for lupus. Let's be clear. We're out here in these communities actually educating people on ACEs for real. But again, let me be quiet. That was a good question. So you got to take us back though. So who were you before this journey? And who are you becoming now?
Um, so let me go back to the previous episode. So to just remind the people. So I started showing signs of lupus when I was 11, officially diagnosed at 16. Um, I had a lot of organ involvement, and I believe when I was on the podcast last, I was either on dialysis or I'm pretty sure I was on dialysis or maybe starting dialysis. But now I've had a kidney transplant 2 years ago, actually.
Congratulations.
So that's something that's different. Prior, when I was on the podcast previously, I was still in the classroom teaching. I'm currently an administrator. And then I was also still in school and now officially graduated to become a doctor, um, which I do credit Dr. Torie for her mentoring and motivational speeches and
Yes,
just
sir.
constant encouragement and prayer, because there are many, 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 many times where I was ready to throw in a towel.
Listen, but this is what cycle breaking looks like. We're not going to give up. And I think for me, it was inspiring because the words of encouragement were true. Like you could do this. I feel like being a cycle breaker, even from the beginning, me graduating from high school, I'm like, well, if anybody could do this, I can do it. You know what I mean? If I could do it, anybody could do it. So then I graduated from college and I was like, well, if I do this, other people can do, you know what I mean? So I think that was it for me, being a
Mhm.
first generation high school, first in my family to get a doctorate degree. If I can do this, and the people that know me from my hood, shout out 40th and College, Kansas City, Missouri. Let's be clear, if I could do it, you can too.
Yeah.
So no shade, you bought into it. And it
Mhm.
was like, you can do it. And you was like, you think I can? Heck yeah. So it was more of accountability. I mean, I love doing what I do. Let's be clear,
Mhm.
because that's more data for me. Not to say it like that, but that's more proof in the pudding of me creating victory. It comes natural to me at this point. You know what I mean? Because this is how I've always been. And you knew me before I was Dr. Victorious. You knew me as
Mhm.
Ms. Williams. People still call me Miss Williams, and I'm okay with it. Yeah, I have students that call me Miss McDonald. So, like, let's be clear, it's still what it is. However, you did that on your own as a single Black woman.
Mhm.
How does that make you feel?
Um, I mean, really, it's still very surreal.
I know.
It's still very surreal. I don't know if it's because I just finished this past December. Um, yeah, that's it's just still very surreal.
And
I have a lot of more time now.
right. You got a life,
Right.
and it's honestly not going to hit you until you know. I think for me, it was building the business.
Yeah.
I think that was what it was for me. You found your niche though. Like you have been advocating for lupus for a while though.
Mhm.
In regards to your dissertation, what made tell us your topic and what made you choose that? Is that in correlation to your lupus or how do you plan on using your topic?
So my topic was looking at special education teacher resiliency and their ability to stay in the classroom despite the obstacles,
Mm,
um, which kind of correlated with my own story. Going through everything I was going through, from lupus to needing a transplant to being on dialysis and still remaining in the classroom.
mhm.
So I wanted to basically find out, what made other special education teachers continue in this career that is notoriously challenging.
Very,
Mhm.
very. You
Yeah.
know my situation, and I didn't hide it from the world. I wrote it in a book.
Hmm.
But to find out that systemic racism is really real, and have people tell you, like, yeah, I will blackball you, really. It pushed me to go into this, but I will share. This is me doing this taught me a lot.
Yeah.
It taught me a lot about myself too, because I'm learning and healing like everybody else. So I think that's the wonderful thing about ACEs awareness and education, because
Hmm.
if you use it and apply it, it'll actually really help you.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, you've been on the podcast before and you know about ACEs, but now, you first, learned about it then, but what about now? Like, how do you feel about ACEs and talking about ACEs now?
I still feel like it's a very important conversation, especially in the work that I do day to day. Even though I'm not in the classroom, I'm still an educator. I still connect with parents and students who have their own ACEs scores, whether they know it or not. So it's important for me to be an advocate for them.
Mhm,
Actually, just today, I was speaking to one of the principals in my district about a family who the student, rarely attends school.
mhm.
But the parents, they just based upon what I know about their circumstances, they have ACEs.
Right.
And, sometimes education isn't in the forefront of everybody's mind when
Right.
they're going through things.
Right.
And, that's something that I don't think everybody in the education world has caught up to yet.
Right. And I think that's the introduction for me. Like, it's actually been out for a very, very, very long time. Why
Hmm.
are we not doing this in our community? But I will share, it's easy to use this current administration as a great example, because the things that they are normalizing,
Yeah.
we normalize actually. And so while we're upset with them, let's be clear. They don't talk about sexual abuse, but we need to talk about it, because this is what people are normalizing and it's not okay. I
Right.
gave them an example of a young lady. I was out yesterday, young lady. Of course, you know me, seen her son, fell in love with her son. He 4, he want to jump in a pool with us, right? So he gets in the pool and she was like, "You guys are so nice. You guys aren't from here." And I'm like, "No, we from Chicago." And so she shared her story right there in there. And what I loved about her sharing her story, she felt comfortable. We created a safe space in the pool area, and she shared her entire story. And when she shared her story, she told me, she said, "I'll admit," she was like, "I met my boyfriend when I was 16 and he was 21." And I was like,
Hmm.
let's have this discussion, shall we? And she was like, "I'm looking for that type of mentorship." And that was humbling to hear, because she actually knew. She was like, "It wasn't him, it was me." She was like, "I was fast." You know what I
Hmm.
mean? It's
Hmm.
like, understand what ACEs is really. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Understand how it can affect you as you get older. So here she is, older woman with this 4-year-old, and she doesn't even have the relationship with the same guy. Well,
Hmm.
what's interesting is, again, let's have a conversation about ACEs, because that awareness is everything. And so
Hmm.
know about ACEs. So has the understanding and the science changed the way you look at your past? in your
Yes.
future?
Hmm. I
Okay.
mean, definitely. When I look back on, things in my childhood, it's definitely framed how I look at, my condition, as far as my health condition,
Yes.
um, and just decisions I've made in my life, even as a parent, decisions I've made as a parent and in relationships.
And how is Mr. Jordan?
Jordan seems like he's finally deciding to grow up.
And it's gonna take him some time. He's a young man.
Yeah.
But the reality is, and we talk about it a lot, but like I will also remind you, it could be different.
Hmm.
It could be different. And
Yeah.
so let him find himself.
Mm.
Let him find himself. And I only say that because you guys, I've invested in this young man since he was very little. He's a great kid. But when you think about ACEs and the aspects,
Mhm.
that's why you're there. You're a hero now. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure that it was exciting for him to see mom turn into a doctor.
It was, and it's funny that he even mentioned to me yesterday. He's like, I want to have a career. He's like, I don't want to have a job where I'm walking around and doing hard work. He's like, I want to have a career like you. And I'm like, oh, okay. So you
See?
want to sit down.
See? And we was just talking about him. You better leave Jordan alone and tell him I said hi. See? So this is what you call legacy talk. And I know
Mhm.
you know that. I have three little legacies. You know, I have my love for my legacy, but that's your legacy.
Mhm.
And he knows that your name is going to be spoken in rooms because you are who? Dr. Fields. So I say this to say, what do you want people to say about the cycles that you have broken?
What do I want? Repeat the question.
What do you want people to say about the cycles you have broken?
The cycles that I have broken. Um, I would just say that my story is a story of perseverance.
There he is.
Um, Perseverance, resiliency, um, definitely isn't easy, but it's just choosing to show up for yourself every day.
Right. You've been doing it. I think for me, it's the fact that your episode was so powerful. Like I said, I had people like Lupus for real. And I'm like, yeah, why don't y'all start looking into it? Tell me a little bit more about your story. And people started sharing. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
so your episode was the one that I said, oh, we're gonna make this an educational podcast. People not just gonna tell their story. I'm gonna find more and more people to tell their story to make ACEs relatable to everybody. And then I look up and you in churches telling your story. Am I right?
Mhm.
Tell us what you do with lupus. Tell us how you are advocating and how you are in your community helping people heal.
So I still work with the Lupus Society of Illinois, but I've also done some work with the National Kidney Foundation. Um, let's see, I've spoken at libraries, at different health events. Pretty much anytime anyone asks me to speak about it.
Okay.
Um, Most recently, I've had a few people seek me out who were recently diagnosed with kidney disease.
Mhm,
So I've just been providing some guidance based upon my experience,
mhm,
and just basically being a shoulder to lean on because, receiving that diagnosis could be scary.
mhm.
Um, but it's so prevalent now, especially in the Black and Brown communities. So.
She's an advocate, you guys. I told you she a psycho breaker. This is my colleague, my friend. I'm telling you, we are out here in this community. We are doing this work because we don't want people to experience the things that we have. We went through it for y'all already, okay? But understanding ACEs will help you heal. And I think that's what I like. So, what is something about childhood trauma or ACEs that the world still gets wrong that you now know the truth about?
One thing that I believe that they get wrong, but that's starting to come into the forefront is that it's only has mental effects. Uh, but we know now that it also has effects on the body as well.
Mhm.
And it is linked to chronic illnesses.
And people have said it. The body keeps the score. Dr. Nadine, the deepest well. Like people have put it out there and said it. And I don't know why people are still not. But I will say, since we've been out here pushing it, that's all I hear people talk about now.
Mhm.
Honestly, I just want people to know how it can actually benefit you and impact you by learning the awareness of it.
Mhm.
Don't just knock it off because it's an ACEs score. We all got it at this point.
Yeah.
However, this is what we've done.
And
So,
then I think also knowing how to like counteract some of the trauma with positive things or what they call green flags.
and that's what we working on. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? But you're still healing. We're still in a healing journey. And so you know that you are proof that, and I love how you said, okay, I'm out here. If anybody needs some, resources, somebody needs some support. I understand I've been through it before. What do you say to the person who was or who is exactly where you were at the start?
Um, the main thing would be just not to give up, not to succumb to the diagnosis. Just knowing that you can get through to the other side. Finding a support system, very
Mhm,
important.
mhm,
People, um, groups, other resources,
mhm,
finding the right doctors,
mhm.
doctors who listen, very important.
Yeah.
Doing your own research.
Mm. Because I encourage it big time. This is what community is about, you guys. You hear what she's saying. I have this ACE method and this framework that people are really using and operating with, you guys. So you have to understand that awareness and building that community around you that's going to help you heal is going to give you the empowerment you need in order to continue to grow. And I'm sticking with it because, again, not only like you said, I got the research to prove it. I got a whole podcast. This is the wonderful thing about this podcast. So having you number one has been amazing, but I learned from your episode. It was a few people that started off and they was dead serious. ULP, Fran, Francine's still in it. It's still a lot of people that are still out here in the community, and it just multiplied. Because what I like is that you were episode 5 and you will officially be episode 103. I think it's so cool. I wanted
Yeah.
105, you know what I mean? That would have been cute, but the Lord seen other ways. I think it's the fact that from a global perspective, when you were on the podcast, we talked about lupus, we talked about some things. People are understanding what cycle breaking looks like. It's the example. We talked about your bio. We talked about some personal. We talked about what you're doing in your community, the growth, healing, and the fact that you are still here. You got a whole kidney. That's a book. You know what I mean? There's people still waiting on that. So just everything that played a part. It's not a brag, you guys. It's nothing but facts. You got to kind of know that you're a cycle breaker. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So tell me more. How does it feel? Because like you said, you bragged a little bit like I ain't gotta no more classes. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
And y'all, she act like this for real in real life. If y'all think y'all gonna get something different, let me tell you, when she talk about what she talk about, she handles her business. But you are unique and one of a kind. That's one of the wonderful things that I absolutely love about you. Everything that you have gotten is warranted and deserved, seriously. Your story is just so amazing. And the fact that you don't hide it and you share it, and just hearing you talk about how you support so many people. Where can people find you?
I'm on Instagram, Facebook. I am Helena Fields. That's about Threads. That's
Uh-huh.
about the extent of my social media.
Hmm.
If you want to reach out via email, you can reach out at hfields711@gmail.com. I'm working on a few things now that I have this free time.
Come on, tell us, tell us, tell us. Because
So,
I'm trying to get it out of you, you know what I mean? But I've been waiting for a long time, and I know all this stuff, but the world don't. So what you got to do
I'm
now?
working on my book
Yeah.
about my journey from diagnosis to transplant and what life looks like now. So that's coming soon.
I'll be right there cheering you on, of course. So happy
Yep.
because you know that people reached out. You know that people, you're an advocate, and you know that, people are like, yes, if this can happen for her, it can definitely happen for me. And I think that is what cycle breakers and cycle breaking looks like. So that means we'll have you back.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Because again, as an educational podcast, people like to see proof.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, and I'm saying unfortunately, like it's a good deal, this has been used for research. So people have used this like, okay, all right, this is talking about this. Interesting. Let me use this as a reference, especially overseas. I will tell you, the podcast has a pretty good reach. It's a nice, good brag, 4.8 out of 5. I'll take it, because you really don't know until you see people understanding it and seeing it how much of an impact it is. And I will tell you, number 5 stays live, okay? I just want you to know,
Mhm.
because again, I will encourage the listeners, go to back to 105. If you want to see someone's healing journey, if you want to see what cycle breaking looks like, if you want to just look at the to and the from, this is the official first episode. So I want to thank you for being here. I want to thank you for believing in me, believing in my vision, believing in what I had going, and participating and supporting and volunteering and doing. You guys, I swear she was hurt not coming to the second conference, but I'm gonna tell you now,
Agreed.
I had no other choice but to make the conference official. Well, I got to get it out by August and September, because I already got educators like, you played. And I'm like, I wasn't trying to. It wasn't that. But I know next year is going to be even bigger.
And I won't miss it. I won't miss
No,
number 3.
know it. I got chewed out. Dr. Fields was upset. But I think this is the good thing. You know what I mean? Even the cycle breakers. I mean, the cycle breakers is like, oh yeah, I ain't letting you do this by yourself. I'm a cycle breaker. Oh, okay, well, come on in. Come on, come on. Because I know there's more people out here like us.
Hmm.
There are more people out here like us. We're not letting an ACEs score, number one, define us. Period. So what? I told somebody, I was like, I think when I first started, I was a 3. I didn't double my score, just learn about ACEs, because there's so much to learn.
Yeah.
And I think that's the great thing, that having the conversation, you'll learn so much about not just yourself, but how you can impact other people by sharing your story. So it's been
Right.
working. We've been doing it. You gonna
Mhm.
keep doing this work with me, ma'am?
Absolutely.
We working together. We've been
Absolutely.
together. I think that's what I really love. We don't let distance, take us apart. I've been here, you've been there handling your business. I'm honored. So again, thank you for being here. You guys, you have it. Another cycle breaker sharing her cycle breaker journey. You all can find me everywhere. Let's be clear. I'm Dr. Victorious everywhere. But of course, if you like this podcast, make sure you go ahead and put a small contribution to Be Victorious Foundation. Me and Dr. Fields work together. She knows how I operate. She knows I got 50,000 mentees out there. We got to make sure these kids get to college. We got to make sure that their education is taken care of. So we encourage any and everybody to go to bevictorious.com, or you can go ahead and go to our scholarship page and give us a wonderful donation because we have work we have to do. We thank you guys again for another episode of Be Victorious. We'll talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye, you guys.